Well, hello. And I am so excited today to be spending some time with Wesley Reece. She is a soulful breakthrough strategy and a money mindset coach. Now, that's quite the mouthful, and I'm going to have you tell us a little bit more about that later. But first, Wesley, I want to welcome you, and I'm so excited to spend some time with you. And I'm going to do a quick introduction, and then we'll get rolling on some cool questions. How's that sound?
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you bet. I'm really excited to have you with me here today. I just love the idea that you're a soul breakthrough strategist and money mindset coach. But Wesley is a soulful breakthrough strategist and a money mindset coach, passionate about helping high performance females with services based businesses. So, are you a high performance female? You may be more of a high performance female than you realize. So, listen up here. Her specialty is helping clients overcome the silent blocks that are standing in the way of creating the desired success in life and business. Have you ever been there before? After 15 years of mentoring and leading women and growing their businesses, she found her own plateau that was blaring signal that she had hit her own limit in her money story. But she didn't have a guide or mentor to accelerate her past this limit. Through her growth journey, she learned that we have all these stories that dictate the behavior and actions we do or do not take part in life and business. And because of this, she is now on a mission to help other entrepreneurs achieve new heights of success. I love it. In a way that is congruent with the way they and the person who they were created to be. She is a God-loving woman, a wife, a mom of 2 kids, and on a mission to help other high-performance females level up in their life. Because Reece is a strong believer and example that you don't have to sacrifice yourself or your family to achieve the level of success you desire in your business or career. I love that, not having to sacrifice that. On a personal note, and I thought this is really cool, she loves crazy amounts of Mexican food and sugar cookies. That's probably a good thing to like this time of year. Her free spirit has taken her to explore parts of the world, traveling on a shoestring budget with only the belongings on her backpack. Oh, I'd love to hear more about that as well. She's a wanderlust at heart, an adventure seeker, seeking experience life to the fullest. Well, Wesley, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you, Peggy. Thank you for that introduction.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. Well, Wesley and I met in an organization together, and both of us are out to help women to achieve their best, but they're in such different fields that I felt that Wesley was such a contribution to other female entrepreneurs, because I've been an entrepreneur and been in business for myself for a long time. And to be able to have that breakthrough, I think that is just really super important. So Wesley, I wanted to ask you a little bit about this, is that what is the most prevalent challenge that people you are working with are facing? What do you find is the most common?
Well, actually, if I could share a little story to kind of answer your question to kick off.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
It's very similar to my own story. And what that is, when my youngest was 2 years old, it was almost as if I was losing myself in the process of being a wife, being a mom, and having a business and growing that at the same time. And I was just overwhelmed. It was like my soul had been sucked out of me. I had nothing left to give. At the end of the day, it was like I was giving my family the leftovers. And because I was giving my clients everything that I had um, during the day to serve them the best that I could. And it was like I was just lopsided. I was trying to grow my business to support my family, but my family was just kind of like a side note. And so it was like I had my priorities all mixed up. And so I tried to find this work-life balance. And a lot of my clients that come to me, they say the same exact thing. It's like, you're in the midst of this overwhelm because you're wearing these many hats and trying to do all these things for everyone else. And over time, you just lose who you are in the process. And when I found myself in my kitchen that night and I was just empty and just there was nothing left, I just decided to draw a line in the sand, draw a line in the
Mm.
sand and to find a better way. And through the process, I tried the work-life balance and that did not work. And I quickly figured out that was not what I wanted because it was an illusion. And
Mm.
then I tried the time management strategies that are out there. And as a busy mom, as a business owner, and all the other many hats of responsibility that we wear, it was like it just wasn't working. I didn't want to manage my time. And so when I found that better way, I knew that I had to help other women in the same way. And because now I can honestly say overwhelm is not a part of my vocabulary. The words "I'm too busy," those aren't a part of my vocabulary either. And because I was able to really take a step back and know that I needed to put what mattered most first, that's when my business started to take off. So the women that come to me, typically the very first thing is I'm exhausted, I'm overwhelmed, and I just don't know how to get myself back. And that's what we do.
Oh, wow. Wow. I think that probably applies to so many women these days that are wearing so many hats. And um, so do you really believe that there's work-life balance then?
No, I don't believe there's work-life balance. To me, it's like if there was work-life balance, it would be like the same amount of myself going into my life as my business. I don't want that. And so I really believe that your business can fit into the nooks and crannies of the life that you want to create and supports that life. And that's that's at my heart and that's what I teach my clients to do because what is it at the end of the day? What is it that matters? This may sound a little morbid, but what is it that matters when you take your last breath on this earth? It's not going to be spending more hours in your business and giving your best to your clients and um, it's going to be those moments with your loved ones that do matter the most. But having a business that supports your purpose and the impact you want to create, so it is a fulfilling, satisfying business, but it fits into the life that you desire for yourself and your family.
Okay, so working with those women, the entrepreneurs who are wanting to have their career, have their company, and then also have that lasting legacy in which they're remembered by, and that they're not known as just the mom who did just the business, but known as the mom who was able to like go to soccer games and have family dinners and do those things and be present with their family. So I like that because there's so many women these days that struggle with that and think that they need to have that work-life balance, or they feel guilty if they put a little bit of time into their business so that maybe for that day and then the next week that they have all the time that they need. Because I think you're right that it's not a work-life balance, that it's a constant, it's like a scale. It goes up and down in what you put into it. But yeah, that's awesome. So what I wanted to ask you, just a small little question here on what is the favorite part of the world that you have traveled to and why? And in your travels, did you gain wisdoms to bring back and use as you help other women?
I did. I actually took the opportunity to travel backpack to the South Pacific after I graduated college. And because I had a few months before my job started. And so it happened to be because I had graduated in December and we were in the winter months, and I'm not a winter person, that I went to the South Pacific because they had summer. And so
Love it.
through the travels, I have to say my most favorite place was New Zealand. And it was just absolutely breathtaking. And the greatest thing that I learned on my travels, I feel like traveling the world is like life university, that it teaches who you are. It teaches
Absolutely.
yourself who you are. And, you know, in my early 20s, that is pretty profound, to be able to have that experience and to be able to discover yourself in the process. And that's something I've been truly passionate about ever since. Because I had this opportunity to learn more about myself in a way I never would have imagined. But you don't necessarily need those opportunities to discover more about yourself. Throughout my personal growth journey, it hit me a handful of years ago when a mentor of mine had so much impact on my life, and really inspired me to tap into those gifts and those talents and strengths that are already within me. And we all have that. We all have those gifts and strengths that, when we use them, that's when we are living our purpose. That's when we experience that satisfaction and fulfillment in on such a deep level that we know, we're right where we're meant to be, and to serve others. So, so to answer your question, New Zealand was my absolute favorite in my travels, and I will go back there in a heartbeat. But I know that being able to discover more about yourself is the opportunity of a lifetime, and we all have that within us.
Yeah, absolutely. So a few years ago, I took a three week road trip myself, and it was a lot of time for physical activity, but mental introspection and self-discovery. So I think that self-discovery is really, really important. And one of the things that I think that happens is that there's a lot of coaches out there. You're a coach, I'm a coach. And then there's people out there who don't think that it's something that's necessary, that they can do it all on their own. As a coach, what would you say to somebody who says, no, I don't work with a coach, I don't need any personal growth, I don't believe in that? What would you say to them if they told you that?
That's a great question. We can't see what is so close to us.
Mhm.
And to have that other perspective, it's kind of like you can't read the label. That's what my business mentor always says. You can't read the label on your own bottle, and you can't. And so to be able to have that support of someone that's gone before you will not only help you accelerate to what you want to achieve, but will also help you see the blocks that you can't see for yourself. And, when I hired my first coach, which was back in 2015, that's when everything started to change for me. My business had plateaued for quite some time, but I didn't have the capacity before that, the mental capacity, to know how to proceed or to figure it out myself. And then I happened to have a conversation with a friend, a colleague, and she actually told me about the coach that she was using, And so that inspired me to really get out of my own way. And that's when everything started to take off. And that's when also I began to really discover the passion that I have to help my clients transform their lives. And so, you know what? We're not supposed to do this life on our own. We're supposed to seek the support of those that are using their gifts. And I just believe that we're all here to support each other. And so that's what that relationship provides.
Yeah, that's awesome. I also work with a coach, and I think that I like that analogy that you can't read your own label, that you're too close to the situation. And we don't see sometimes those things that keep us stuck, even something as simple as language or the stories that we tell ourselves, and how that can be a shift. So that leads into my next question. So what's the most important shift you suggest for someone that struggles with that balance?
You know, I would say really take a look at, okay, so what we measure, we can start to see patterns. Like if you want to lose weight, you measure or you keep track of what you eat. If you want to set some money goals or save for a particular trip or something like that, you track it. And it's the same with how you use your time, your greatest resource. And a lot of the times we're not really conscious of where we're spending our time. And then we wonder why we don't have enough at the end of the day. I can't tell you how many times have I heard, I just wish there were more hours in a day. Well, there's a lot. If you are to become aware of where you're spending your time, that's one of the greatest shifts you can make. Because I can guarantee you, for one, it's, if you say your top 5 priorities in life are one thing, you track where you're spending your time over a week, I can tell you it will be the complete opposite of what you think it is. And until you're aware of it, you can't control it. And so the first step of growth is being aware of what's really going on. So whether that is, where you spend your time, if you're overwhelmed and you have all these things going on and you just can't seem to, get up for air. One thing that I'm passionate about is putting your oxygen mask on first, but you have to be aware of what that means for you. And so if you make that shift, and just with that intention of just becoming more aware about where you're spending your time, or what are those distractions that are stealing your time, you can begin to shift to what you truly desire. But it's only with that first step can you begin that transition.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I think definitely being aware of our time. I think I've heard things, average American spends 4 hours a day using social media and TV, and then in a lifespan, it winds up being like 13 years, which is incredible. And that, for me, since I lived at least half my life prior to the social media, so I won't have that devastation, but to kids that are being born nowadays, that's going to be quite a truth in their life. But so it's like you can't make progress on something if you don't measure it, for sure. And I think that's what you were talking about. But I wanted to dig a little bit deeper into your comment about putting on the oxygen mask on first. Can you explain to us what you mean by that?
Well, as busy women leading full lives, whether it was what you experienced prior to the pandemic or how, the year of 2020 has been a year of many firsts, and it's like all the areas of our lives have been put into a blender and just mixed all up, and there's like no distinction anymore. It Putting on your oxygen mask, it's true prior to COVID, it's true in the midst of a pandemic. It's being able to really, some call it self-care, but it's way beyond that. It's taking care of your well-being so that you can be there for those that need you, and be there for whether it's your partner, your children, your clients in your business. If you don't take care of yourself, then you're not showing up as your best self. And so to put on your oxygen mask, I truly believe that we're in control of the bookends of our days. So that the first 30 minutes of your day and the last 30 minutes of your day, and then the middle of the day, it can go completely sideways. But here's the thing, you're better prepared to handle the sideways shift of your day if you center yourself first and set your intention for that day. And it's the same at the end of the day. What is your evening ritual that helps prepare you for a great night's sleep, and then also prepare you for a kickstart in the morning? So your kickstart in the morning, it could be anything. And if you're not used to this, if you're used to like hitting snooze until like the last minute when you have to get up, or if you have that 3 a.m. wake up consistently and you just wake up exhausted, which that was me for a very long time, is to get in front of that. Really ask yourself, why is that? And what are some resources or tools, or what can you do to really get you back to your optimal well-being? So as far as centering yourself in the morning, that can look many different ways for many people. But a few examples would be like centering yourself. I'm a person of faith, so centering yourself with God, whether it's prayer time, meditation time, it could include a little bit of journaling, which I'm a big fan of journaling, which is another topic for another day. But being able, even if your morning routine includes a little exercise, being able to have that so that you can really show up best for your day. And I can tell you, any obstacles or challenges that come your way during the day, you'll be better equipped to handle those if you really take that time for yourself. So that's part of the oxygen mask.
Yeah.
So and it's just like, the airplane example. I mean, you have to put yours on before you can help anyone else. I found myself when the kids were littler, and I gave you that story in the beginning, it was like I was pulling from an empty cup. It was like my cup that I thought had, stuff in it, had like leaky holes at the bottom. And those leaky holes were me taking care of myself, because I was putting everyone before myself. And it's not selfish, but you can't give what you don't have. So you got to plug those leaks in your cup so you can pull from a cup that is abundant, that has what you need to be able to give away. So.
And I like that example about the oxygen mask, but so many women have a tendency to not even believe that. is that they feel guilty about it, or that others make them feel guilty. They just don't take that time. And I think helping them to realize that you can't pull from an empty cup. So I like that, being able to really focus on yourself, because then we can give to others. It's very it's enlightening, and I love that analogy. So awesome. So you explored a few things on actually a morning routine and a night routine, but would there be one other tip that you would want to share with us today, in helping to find themselves and
Absolutely.
find their strength?
Well, actually, what I wanted to share that kind of goes along with the oxygen mask is, as busy women, we carry such a mental load, because we have to remember things at the flip of a second. We have to be able to just have things to recall, or things to remember for those that we're responsible for throughout the day. And um, on top of everything else that needs to get done, on top of everything else that tends to be put on the back burner, because it's like all of a sudden you have this large snowball of things that and projects that just tend to pile up, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. So one of the things I've used for the last 7 or 8 years that has made a world of difference is it's a brain dump list. And and I use this with every client, but it's getting everything out of our brain onto paper, whether it's for our business, whether it's for personal. And I actually have a tool. If anybody wants it, just shoot me a message. I'll be happy to send it your way. But it's a tool to be able to free your mind of all that clutter that bogs you down and drains your energy trying to remember everything. And I have a simple system to start attacking that brain dump list. And all over time, you'll find your brain dump list is pretty short. It's not astronomically long like it used to be. And so that's one thing that I really think that a tool that is just an amazing thing to do for yourself, and an easy thing to do too. I mean, you can implement it in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. I like that, because I remember, that there's been times that I've forgotten to do things, or just, and I think when so much of that, we're trying to keep that all in our brains, that it causes that brain fog and that clutter, and we can't think. But once it's on paper, we can visualize it and see and go, oh, okay, this goes with this and this goes with this. And oh yeah, this one isn't that important. We can set that one aside or whatever. So yeah, very, very much so. So I love that. And I'm going to hit you up for that brain dump tool myself. So for sure. And I have a question here. You have a quote by Henry David Thoreau. And I want to ask you why this one's important to you, because it's on your information. And that quote is, "Our truest life is when we are in dreams awake." When did you discover that one applied, or how does that work for you?
A few years ago, it really hit me. And I've always been a dreamer. I mean, you go back, you ask people from my childhood, and they thought I was nuts. I was like, I was this, optimistic, always had these big dreams, and still do. My husband has learned not to look at me with a goofy face like, what are you talking about? Like, now he's learned to accept all of my when I share my dreams. And I feel like our greatest satisfaction and fulfillment is it's going to come from living out those desires that we yearn for, that our soul yearns for. And I truly believe and live this. And And that key to happiness is in that. And so if you've got this burning desire, this dream inside of you that you've just told yourself, oh my gosh, maybe someday, or, that sounds really great, but you got to live into that dream, because you can. I believe that we create the life. Life happens for us. It doesn't happen to us. And we can create that life and live that dream. And that greatest satisfaction and fulfillment will come from that. So
awesome. All inspired by a quote. That is wonderful. And then, why do you believe serenity is the new success?
Well, I have to say, if you would have asked me this 10, 20 years ago, I would have been like, no, you got to hard work and, when you're young in life, it's like, oh, I want to buy that car, or I want to buy that house, or it's like those things that you want to have. But really, it's so much deeper. Those surface level of achievements that, you see on social media and stuff like that, it looks like success, but that true deep fulfillment, it comes from becoming the person that's required to achieve what you want to achieve. And to do that, it's that character, and that having that fulfilled life, and living from a place of that sense of serenity that only comes from within, that to me is true success. So no matter what is going on in the world, and there's a lot going on, and there will continue to be a lot going on, you can still have that sense of serenity because it comes from within. And to me, that's the greatest achievement.
Oh gosh, Wesley, I really love that, because you're not so focused on those material objects anymore. So that's absolutely amazing. Amazing. Well, this has been some wonderful time with you here today. And what parting thoughts would you have that you would like to leave with our guests today, and those who watch or who are watching live, or those who watch this on a recording, YouTube or on Facebook? What would any parting thoughts, or would you like to leave with them?
Well, that's a great question, because, we're in a unique time, and, this has been quite the year of experience. But I have to say that, no matter, like I said, no matter what's going on in the world, we have the ability to really achieve that sense of serenity, and it's all within your grasp. And to be able to do that is, it's human nature to put ourselves off, as moms, particularly. It's just, what we do. Or it's easy to say, I'll wait until there's a better time, or when you have more time. And the thing is that there'll never be the perfect time. There'll never be the time when you're not busy. It's taking that time for yourself and setting that intention that you deserve to experience that sense of serenity. And so that, it's going to ripple effect. It's going to not just affect your life and how you experience life, it's going to ripple effect into all of those that are in your influence. And so I just, for whoever's watching today, just know it's possible. Just know it's possible. And so thank you again for having me.
Well, absolutely. Well, how would we, I know how to get in touch with you, but how would our listeners get in touch with you?
So you can find me on social at I am.Wesley Reece, and connect with me there. Just shoot me if you have a question, or if I can help you in any way. And I'm happy to do that. I'm also kicking off a Reboot You workshop. It's a 5-day workshop so that you can take that last week of December, since we're all having a unique holiday anyways. It's a great time to really take that time and invest in yourself so that you can set the intention going into 2021 to really be able to um, uh, it really be able to take the steps and make that change that you want to see in your life, for your highest and best good. And so I'm going to spend 5 days and take you through that. It's going to be a workshop. So you're going to be doing the work as we go so that you can have that plan in your hand and set that intention as you go into 2021, as we go into this new normal, and you can hit the ground running. So join me in that.
I like it. So I'm reading your flyer here on this, and it's like, take what 2020 taught you. And believe me, if you haven't learned something about yourself in 2020, then I think that it may be a repeat for you, because 2020 has been a year for us all to learn so much about ourselves and to change. And so I like this, making a plan for 2021, create that plan for you and your family, no matter what's going on. And so I like that. And then coming together with like-minded women to draw that line in the sand and take a stand for what you want. Because this is, I feel like we're all starting from just such a new world and starting from scratch. And this is the opportunity. I know that there's a lot of women who are looking at starting their own businesses because they've been laid off from their other women that are already there. And trying to make that, they're juggling multiple balls in the air, and that, letting go of the world overwhelm.
Yeah.
I love that, and letting go of that, and that you'll be doing it. So 5 days, and that's starting December 7th.
27th.
The 27th. Yeah, today's, yeah, it's after that.
Hey,
December 27th.
To your point, the last stat that I heard, it was like 2.2 women have, professional women have left the workforce because of what this year has caused. And because it's just been a shift for so many people. And so it can be that shift of rediscovering or reinventing yourself to what is aligned with what your soul desires. And that's what I help women do. And that's what I'm so passionate about, because I just feel like everyone's life is worth it, worth discovering who they are and who they're created to be so they can step into that. So I'm super excited to offer that.
Oh, that is awesome, Wesley. I just feel your energy when you start talking about that. It's like, oh, I want people in there. I want to help some women, help them to find themselves, find their purpose, and your enthusiasm, just as you offering this, and you're offering it for a few women for free. So grab your spot today, folks. I think this is absolutely amazing. And so, Wesley, I really want to say thank you, that I've learned so many things about you, about myself even, and how I can further do it. And, it's always interesting to hear other perspectives that you as a coach working with entrepreneur women who are in that overwhelm mode. And then I work with women who have lost a child and that they're suffering mentally, physically, and emotionally, and that I help them to navigate their losses, be able to cope with their emotions, find some and overcome health challenges, and then also really find the joy. And one of the things is to give themselves permission to live a fulfilling life and still hold room and space in their heart for their loved one. And I think that goes back to your whole analogy about the oxygen mask, is that women have a tendency to not put ourselves first. And so I appreciate, from one coach to another, And thank you so much. And I wish you and your family, your two young children, to be able to have a successful holiday, one filled with serenity.
You too, Peggy. Thank you again for having me.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks.